Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, actually, hold up. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about some Team Fortress 2. I know everybody's shocked by that. Welcome back to Breakfast Analysis number 9. And today we're going to be going over lower brackets, round 1, and upper bracket finals of the ESEA playoffs. No shock, still the standard format, everything you're used to. Today I'm eating French toast, scrambled eggs, bacon, and tater tots because my school thinks tater tots are an acceptable replacement to hash browns. So we're starting off the morning a bit disappointed, to say the least. But regardless, I think we'll power through. Should be a good episode here. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, specifically in the second match that we're going to talk about. But this one's pretty interesting as well. Swift versus Velocity. There's a 2-1 for Swift on Granary, and then Snakewater was a 5-2. So Snakewater a lot less busy, and I really hate ESEA, dude, because the STV server worked for Game 2, did not work for Game 1. So we didn't really get to see this, so I can't really talk about how it went down. The 5-2 went pretty much how you'd expect. Velocity got a round in each half, but they really weren't looking dominant throughout the whole game. Swift seemed sort of in control. Which is clearly not what the case was for map 1. At least Velocity were able to be a lot more defensive. Again, it was Granary, so you kind of expect it to be a whole lot slower of a match. Still, you'd expect a higher scoreline than 2-1, but if it's going to happen on any map, 2-1 is probably going to happen on Granary. So nothing great here. Velocity had potential. This was always a team Velocity was capable of beating. I mean, you can see it in the 2-1 that's reflected, but I never really thought they could do it, and maybe that's me being a little bit too pessimistic. But I always kind of had Velocity pegged for 4th in the playoffs here. Swift and Ascent were the real toss-ups in this playoff. Run up. So Velocity getting 4th is not a big surprise to me. They had their opportunities. They played both Ascent. Or no, they never played Ascent. But they had their opportunity to beat Swift, who had already lost to Ascent. And they couldn't pull through. Unfortunate, because I do like the team. I just think realistically, this is probably where they deserve to be. Pete, I do want to talk about Pete, because Pete actually had a pretty good game, especially in the first one. Top damage his team. He top damaged the server? He topped... No. He did top damage his team, though. No, he didn't. Jarrett top damaged his team. Alright, Pete did garbage anyways. No, he got 31 frags, which is nice for the first map. And then he came back on the second map, and he did top frag for his team. And in this one, he top damaged as well. So, specifically on this Snakewater game, Pete did very well. 27 and 18. Very good stat line for probably his last game. I think he said he's retiring after this. So, a nice little send-off for him. Obviously, they didn't win. They got kind of stomped. But he can at least say he had a good performance. Kind of a shame that he's retiring because I would like to see him play more and continue to improve. Him and Shamu are probably the stars of this team. Maybe you could say that. I don't know. Showstopper's also very good. But the scouts have really surprised me more so. Showstopper you kind of expect to be good. But Shamu and Pete definitely came out and were a lot more effective than I kind of expected them to be. And so, they played very well. The guys on Swift as well, I mean, Swift are a team that they've never really had a standout player. You look at Tech, it's always it's Banny and Habib. You look at Ascent, and you got, Corsa's always going to do great, and Slemish as well. You look at Velocity, and, Shamu, Showstopper, they're always going to do really, really well. But Swift is kind of just every single member of their team is going to do well. And each player can have their own unique, oh, this was my game. I mean, you look at their stats. Look at the frags. 35, 35, 34, okay? I mean, the guys who did 28 from their Devilman, but the Devilman's still top damage. Then you have the Roamer here. We always talk about how, Roamers and Devilman are generally going to score fewer frags than your Pockets and your Scouts, so not a bad scoreline at all for Laz. Still very high damage, and high damage for a Granary match. Let's clarify that. High damage and then 31 frags as well. Not bad at all, just lagging a little bit behind his scouts and his pocket soldiers. So, you know, great job. If I had to pick a standout player, I guess I'd pick Aim, just because he's only one behind on frags, and he's pretty high up there on damage. You know, he's basically he's like 2 behind on damage for Yite, which is that's a great deal. 2 damage per minute. Then if you go to their second map, I mean, it's pretty much a lot of the same story. Bot mode kind of picked it up a little bit more. 36 frags. Just sort of stealing him away from his teammates, though. Like, you could say, ooh, High Five had a bad game, but I feel like in a 5-2, it's more just like, well, High Five didn't get the opportunities. Maybe High Five was probably capping most of the time. Can we see control points capped? Is that what this was? He got 9. Actually, Bot mode was capping more points than he was, but they were both capping a lot of points, so... that just speaks to me more like, because they got the 5-2 win here, I'm not too concerned about low stats. It's not that people are doing bad, it's just that people are not getting the same opportunities. You know, bot mode's cleaning up the frag, so High Five doesn't have to. That doesn't reflect poorly on High Five, that's just good for bot mode. And the rest of the players are the same story. I mean, Yite still hit crazy damage, 280. Good to see him picking it up top damage in the server, doing fine in frags as well. And Laz obviously picking it up as well, 26 and 21. Better stat line than he had before. He's even beating like Aim and High Five in terms of frags. Not quite damage. Aim's still beating him on damage, but everybody on Swift is very equal, in my eyes at least. So Swift take out Velocity, and Velocity Esports go home with 4th in the ESEA Season 27 League season. Next up was Tech versus Ascent. This match was a little bit more interesting. You got a 5-4, your maps were Gullywash and Snakewater. 5-4 for Tech and Gullywash, 5-4 on Snakewater. My god. Due to SCV issues, we didn't see the first map. Well, we could see the first map if you were watching Shade's POV. So, you probably saw the first map, and then I casted the second half of this second map. So, we saw a bit here, and we can kind of go into it. It seems like maps didn't make a difference, and this is a match I got to talk about last week, and we already had the maps picked and chosen, so I got to kind of talk about these maps. I think I said Gullywash would be like a 5-0 for Froyo, and then Snakewater would be a 5-4 for Froyo. So I did predict Snakewater correctly. Why didn't I predict Gullywash? I think Gullywash has always been a stronger map for Tech, and if you look at the scoreline, if you were watching the stream, in the first half, it really did seem like it was a stronger map for Tech. I think Ascent came out early, either the first or second round. I don't quite remember. They got this first round on the board. When Tech almost looked like they were cleaning up. Then you go into the second half, and Tech really started to struggle. I mean, Shade was not having a great day. 14 deaths compared to only 9 from Nursey. That's a bit of a step up. An even charge drop as well. I think basically just having all the stream viewers was a bit distracting to him. I know people were like donating to him, and that was like blaring music in his ears or something. So that's not good. But Tech, I mean, they still pulled it out. They still got that 5-4 win. But it was a lot closer than I think they wanted Gullywash to be. And then going into Snakewater, that really didn't paint a good picture, because the set's supposed to be stronger on Snakewater. And honestly, I think they were. You go to the scoreline here, if it wants to swap over for me. If you check this out, I mean, it's a lot more even in the first half. You just saw it flick by you. It's 2-2 in the first half, right? And then in the second half, it's 3-2. So a lot more back and forth, you can tell. I mean, crazy shame that Ascent couldn't pull it out here. I mean, they were literally 2 rounds away from beating Tech in 2 best-of-3s. But regardless, I mean, this is how the chips fall. And that's the thing. You know, Tech. In a game like TF2, there's a whole lot of opportunities for the better team to win. It's a lot less fluky, it's a lot less flip-floppy than a lot of other games. So, it's not that surprising that Tech won in 2 BO3s, despite it being so close. And even if we'd gone to that third best-of-3, I believe it was Viaduct was the third map. Yes. Even if we'd gone there, I mean, Ascent still would have had to win that one if they had won either of these, really. So, it was very close. It was as close as a 2-0 can get. But Tech still coming out on top, and they're going to have that advantage going in the grand finals. That hurts so much for Ascent. Because now not only do they have to beat Tech in a best-of-3, so they have to take 2 maps off Tech, where all season they've taken 0. Then they got to do it again. They got to win a second best of 3 in order to beat Fire Tech in the Grand Finals. So it gets a whole lot harder by losing the upper bracket finals, and that's not good for them at all. Corsa really had an impact. He was definitely sleeping in map 1. I mean, 188 DPM, 24 frags for what you sometimes consider to be the star player of Ascent. I would probably call Corsa the best player on Ascent. This is a stat line you don't want to see at all. I mean, he didn't die very much either, but you want to see your main players stepping up, your main fragging players stepping up, and this is really not his map. It was on Gully Wash, so maybe he just doesn't like Gully Wash. I mean, Fire Tech has always kind of been pretty dominant on Gully Wash, so it would make sense that maybe one of the star players from Ascent, if this is a map they consistently lose, maybe he's not as comfortable. I did hear something as well about him being on, like, bad internet or something. This is ETF2L. Let me see if I can find this. It might have been here. I'm washed up on a PSU broke over the weekend. Don't expect much, and that really showed in the first half. I don't know if that's entirely to blame or if he just wasn't having a good day, but that seems like a very likely explanation to me. Just because this isn't just a stat line you want to see from Corsa at all, or that you expect to see. But map 2, I don't know what happened. He fixed his PSU or something because, good lord, 54 frags compared to only 25 deaths, 213 DPM, which is a fine DPM. I mean, really just pulling in the work for his team on Snakewater, so that's great to see. Slemish as well, I mean, maybe slouching a little bit, but I think that's mostly just because he's sitting next to Corsa. You know, he's still second fragged for his team. DPM is still right up around where the rest of his team is at, so that's fine. And if you look at this first map as well, Slemish kind of filled in for Corsa almost. You know, he didn't do as great. He didn't drop 50 frags, but he still top fragged the server. Nope, top fragged his team though. Banny top fragged the server, hitting him one more than him. And still very respectable DPM as well with 243. So Slemish kind of picked it up. If you look at other players on Ascent that you want to, ride home about, Donsky almost 300 DPM is very nice. Mela as well, hitting a lot of DPM. Marmaloo hitting a good amount of frags. I mean, there's good stats on pretty much everybody except for Corsa in this first map and in the second map. I feel like Badonsky, was he the one who kind of fell asleep in this match? Yeah, 211 DPMs and only 21 frags. A little bit less of an impact than you want to see. But of course, that's the difference between Gully Wash and Snakewater, right? You expect a Demoman to be more effective on a map like Gully Wash. So that's not a big deal. And my last point is about Blaze. If you look at the stat line right now, right, 206 DPM, 15 frags, and 48 deaths, that's pretty bad, right? But if that's all you're thinking is that's bad, then you clearly weren't watching the match after the first half, when Blaze had an astounding 3 frags in 30 minutes. 3 frags in 30 minutes. I don't even understand how a roamer can have such a bad game. And certainly that had to have contributed to Fire Tech's very low score. If you take a look at his stats on the first map, I mean, they're a whole lot better. He top damaged the server with 301 DPM. He got 25 frags and 28 deaths, which is fine for a roamer. You know, that's pretty much where you want to be. But, like, that damage, he's definitely having an impact. He got 1 med pick. You come into the second map, I literally don't know what happened. If he's just really, like, maybe this is part of the thing, right? Fire Tech have always struggled on Snakewater. Ignore that every single match page says Badlands. That's just ESEA not working correctly. But, Fire Tech historically been a very weak team on Badlands. And so, or on Snakewater, on Snakewater, and so it kind of makes sense that maybe one of the reasons that they have historically been so bad is maybe one of their players just aren't good at playing it. I mean, Blaze kind of showing that here. If Eric and Banny didn't pick it up for him, I mean, Banny always kind of picks it up for his team, but if Eric didn't step up in the same way Corsa stepped up, this easily would have been an Ascent match. If not because the Ascent are better on this map, but at least because Blaze was playing, like, total garbage. Like, I don't want to rag on him too bad, because I don't know what was going on. Maybe he spilled chocolate milk all over his keyboard, like, who knows. But, you don't want to see that from what a lot of people consider to be the best roamer of all time, right? The best roamer of all time does not drop 3 frags in 30 minutes. You know, that's ridiculous. If you come to this second map, just look on the medics, I talked about this in the first map. Again, Shade having a few more deaths than Nursey, but it's not by a whole lot. And he even didn't drop at all, so that's nice. But regardless, I mean, if you look at the upsides from Firetech, 50 frags from Eric is not bad at all. 48 from Banny, pairing it with 250. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Everybody's standout. Maybe a little less so on Yomps, but Yomps is still hitting that damage, so, like, his 28 frags are not a big deal. You'd like to see him pick it up when Blaze is kind of dropping the ball. So the fact that he didn't certainly didn't help them. But Banny, Habib, and Eric, man, they're too good. Coming to this first map, and Eric was, I think, sleeping a little bit more. 31 frags to 218. Usually you wouldn't call that stat line sleeping, but it's just because he's next to Banny, right? Banny, probably the best pocket scout of all time. In the first map, he did very well as well. He always kind of hits, top frags his team. Does very good on damage. Habib always steals that damage from him. Well, not always, usually. In this map, it was Blaze. Because nothing makes sense in this world, so. All in all, I mean, very good game from both teams. That's why you get 2 5-4s, but little mistakes, little weird blips of players just doing a lot worse than you'd expect them to. In terms of Blaze and in terms of Corsa, and a couple of players here and there, Shade as well. But in the end, Firetech grabbed their ticket to the Grand Finals, and Ascent dropped down to the next map that we're going to talk about. Ascent versus Swift. This is one I'm really excited for. Now, we don't have a lot of stats to look forward to. Obviously, this one happening Tuesday at 10:30. That's Eastern. So we are covering that on Team Fortress TV. There it is. So be sure to go check that out, because it's going to be a good game. And we're about to talk about it. So Gully Wash, Sunshine, Granary are the maps. I do want to dig out these maps. Let's just walk through this pick ban phase, right? First of all, Ascent ban Process and Swift ban Badlands. This is the exact same, so obviously these teams played each other already. These are the exact same first bans that we saw before. Swift bans Badlands, Ascent bans Process. What that tells me is they're just these two teams that don't like these two maps. Fine. Even if you look at the other maps they've played, what are they first banning these? In this one, once again, Ascent first ban Process, and Swift, this time they're banning Process. So I guess when they know they're not up against Ascent, they don't have to ban Process. But regardless, you still see this coming out from Ascent and Swift, banning the same maps. So that's sort of just standard carrying over. Now, next up is Ascent. Ascent get the option to pick Gully Wash. And this is actually the map that Swift picked last time. So Ascent now picking the map that their opponents picked. And I think that has no small part to do with the fact that Ascent won on Gully Wash last time they played in the last best of 3. Taking it 5-3, that is a big deal. I mean, last time in the best of 3, Swift won on Ascent's map, and Ascent won on Swift's map, and then Ascent won the tiebreaker. So you can tell that's going to heavily affect their picking strategy now. Ascent going to just play it safe. They know they can beat this team on Gully Wash. They had a pretty decisive, 5-3, relatively strong showing last time they came up against this team on this map. And even if you look at them in the regular season, I don't believe they played each... Oh, did they play each other in Gully Wash, actually? Let's give them a minute. I know I didn't get to talk about these map picks and bans because when I did my breakfast analysis before this match, they hadn't done them yet. But if you go back to Gully Wash week, Ascent had a nice win against Velocity, 5-3. So they're probably feeling pretty confident on the map. And I think Swift had a decent Gully Wash week as well. They took 2 rounds off for it, I guess. So regardless, that just means that both these teams like this map. And especially Ascent, now that they know they can beat them on this map, they're going to try to play it again. Sunshine, next up, is being picked by Swift. And I honestly don't know why they didn't pick this map last time. If you look, obviously last time Swift were the higher seed, so they got to, pick the last one. So it came down to this last pick. between Product and Sunshine, and they pick Product, and they lose on Product. And if you go back, Sunshine was the map where they beat Ascent already once before. It was a 4-3 scoreline. So, you know, I kind of wonder why didn't they pick Sunshine again? They already know they can beat Ascent on this map. And to be fair, right, this version of Ascent was kind of falling apart. They had a lot of issues, and they still managed to get 3 rounds off Swift. So maybe Swift are thinking, you know what, now it's good Ascent, now we can't beat them on Sunshine. Now we're going to pick Product. Obviously, that decision came back and bit them in the ass. Lost 4-2. So they're not going to make that same mistake twice. They're saying, fine, we'll play you on Sunshine. We know we've beaten you on this one. But it's kind of curious as well that Swift don't choose to play the second map that was played last time, which was Metalworks. Because a 5-3, I mean, that's a little more decisive than a 3-4, right? Especially considering, like, this Ascent that you already beat on Metalworks is a whole lot closer to the Ascent you're going to be facing, you know, next up. It's the exact same team, right? Whereas in between the Sunshine map where you beat them and this match that you're picking for, you know, they've done roster swaps, they've done position swaps. I mean, there's been a whole lot of chaos since then, so interesting pick, to say the least. And, you know, Ascent, they come right back out there, and they're like, great, you guys didn't pick Metalworks, so we're going to get that off the table immediately. And Swift as well, they're saying, okay, well, we already lost on Product, we know we lose on Product, we're not going to play this map. And then, curiously, Ascent picked Granary over Snakewater. And I still don't really know why, because, again, Swift have beaten Ascent on Granary. Right, despite having the pick advantage, 2 out of the 3 maps have a history of Swift winning on them. Now, they were both very close, and they were both against probably weaker Ascent rosters than we currently have, but that's probably not what you were really going for as Ascent. So, I'm really not sure why they chose to pick Granary over Snakewater, especially since Snakewater has historically always been an Ascent map, right? At least up against Fryotech. I don't know about against Swift. Especially, I mean, Swift lost on Snakewater. They've lost Esports, a team that they're very clearly, you know, better than. They lost on Snakewater. So it seems like Swift aren't good at Snakewater. It seems like Ascent are good at Snakewater, but yet they choose Granary. And I don't know. I don't agree with that. I'd love to hear their reasoning. I mean, Ascent, they got 5-0, 5-1. They weren't really playing good teams. Same with their Granary, so you can't really look into that too much. But, yeah, I don't know. That is a confusing pick to me. I really don't know why they would pick it. It wasn't like there's anything strategic about it. You literally just pick the map you want to play. It's the last pick. It's the last band that you can choose, and they're gonna go Granary. So I hope that doesn't come back to bite Ascent in the ass, because Swift are probably pretty happy about that. If I had to guess, the fact that they got Granary to be their last map and they don't have to play Snakewater. Granary is obviously a very slow map, and we've seen it before in the Velocity versus Swift match. And to be fair, you know, maybe Ascent watched that and they were like, wow, Swift really suck at playing Granary. You know, maybe they're thinking like that, considering they almost lost to Velocity on it. But I mean, that was their pick before. Clearly, they kind of like Granary. If they're willing to first pick it against Velocity, I don't know. I don't know, man. This is a questionable pick. I mean, Ascent as well, or Swift as well, kind of having a questionable pick, picking Sunshine over a map like Metalworks. But I don't think Sunshine's a bad map. And obviously, they have to have a reason for picking it, so, you know, we're not too worried about this one. If I'm going to give a prediction, I think pretty clearly Ascent take Gully Wash, because they took Gully Wash last time, right? And that was pretty safe. 5-3. So we're going to predict the exact same scoreline. 5-3 for Gully Wash. Sunshine, man, I mean, they've already lost once before, right? And clearly Swift are comfortable enough to pick it over a map like Metalworks. So I've got to give it to Swift. 5-4 probably. Maybe a 5-3. Because even last time they played it, I mean, it was a very close match. Ascent has only gotten better since they played that. But if Swift are confident enough to pick it, then I'm still going to favor them in that matchup. So 5-4 for Swift. And then it's going to come down to Granary, and I got to give it to Swift. That's a match. If it was Snakewater, I'd give it to Ascent 100%. But they're playing Granary, so I'm going to give it to Swift. 3-1. That's going to be my my call, so we'll see. That is obviously happening on Tuesday, so a lot to get excited for in terms of matches coming up. Moving on, I mean, Friartech versus Blank, the grand finals. I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but Friartech are going to have a really... Let me rephrase that. Ascent or Swift are going to have a really tough time taking on Friartech. They've got that 2-map, or 2BO3 disadvantage. Friartech are going to have pick advantage. It's going to get disgusting. And if Friartech keep messing up, I mean... 2-5-4s, that's a good sign. It's a lot better than what we were seeing at the beginning of the season in terms of Friartech versus Ascent, when Friartech was literally 5-1ing Ascent, you know. And then Ascent kind of clawed it back. It was 5-3, and now they went 2-5-4s. So if the trend continues, you know, 5-1, 5-3, 5-4, 5-4, it's got to flip eventually, right? Is now going to be the time where it flips? That's yet to be seen. But this match will probably happen later this week, maybe Thursday night. If I had to guess, I would say Thursday night, but it might happen next week as well. We'll just have to wait and see. Probably the 19th. That's my birthday, so I hope the grand finals happen on April 19th. But yeah, that's probably going to be it for the breakfast analysis today. Thank you guys for watching. It's been about a half-hour episode, so basically what we're looking for. I do want to talk a little bit just about what I'm doing during the off-season and stuff. So if you don't care about that, then you can leave. But I do want to start streaming some more, and you know, one thing that people have asked me is, are you going to continue doing breakfast analysis during the off season when there are no games happening, and how that's going to work? I am going to try to continue breakfast analysis even when no matches are happening. And basically, what my plan is, I want to kind of just pick a topic and sort of delve into it once a week. So you know, maybe that topic will be the history of Friartech on Snakewater or something like that, and we'll just really get into a topic. And sort of talk about it. And yeah, and I want to be doing regular streams as well, like non-breakfast streams. So expect that. Probably just playing TF2, grinding that TF2 PL and grinding that matchmaking. But maybe some other games as well I've kind of been thinking about. So that's going to be it for me for today. If you're watching this live, then watch this in 2 days, but more importantly, watch the Essentials Tournament coming up in 2 hours. We've got some good teams, and I'm going to be casting with Xtine, which is a whole lot of fun. So be sure to come tune into that, because it'll be a blast happening in 2.5 hours. That places it at 3 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock Eastern. So be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.